What's good, guys? Today I have another car review for you, and it's another one of Wayne's cars actually. And you're probably going, hang on, we've seen a lot of Wayne's cars on the channel. He's just a really good friend that actually lets me drive his cars and put them on the channel, which is awesome. But this one you've already seen before in another video. It's his R33. Now, last time we drove this car, it was about like 396, 398 horsepower, pretty much right on the 400 mark, and it was pretty well a monster. But in the last few months since I was last here and we reviewed this car, he's gone through and changed a whole heap of stuff. Now, the power itself is currently still, it's not much more. It's about like 430 horsepower roughly. But what he's done under the hood is a lot. 270 Pro CAMS from Tomei, a Nitto oil pump. He's also gone and cranked up the PSI by 2 PSI. But the biggest thing is the lag difference that I want to drive and find out and show you guys. Because if you remember last time, it was really laggy. But the whole point of adding these cams is that it kind of fixes that in the mid-range. So anyways, let's jump in and check it out. Before we go for a drive, let's have a look under the hood and see if anything's changed since the last time we took a look at it. Oh, that new powder coating looks great. Just using my head to hold open the hood as per usual. Nice. So got the turbo, the exhaust manifold and everything HPC coated. Looks really good. And this darker maroon powder coating looks so much better than what it previously was. The old powder coating was all bubbly and kind of had it seemed like the guy who powder coated didn't do such a great job. But now this looks so much smoother and better. So that looks all pretty. Obviously, a Taki garage intake manifold. I did say this in the previous video, but that was one of our first prototypes because it's got the vac ports on the top. And then overall, everything's pretty standard. During the tune with the new PSI boost and cams and everything, we started getting a whole bunch of bad harmonics in the factory CAS. So that's why we wound it down and we didn't go for 500, 600 in this engine. So once we get a new trigger kit from Ross Performance, this thing's going to be getting wound up and switching to E85, and it's going to be even more of a monster. But as you can see, standard, kind of same setup as before. The only main difference is oil pump, cams, things you can't see really. But otherwise, really nice tidy engine bay. Looks the business. And just like his 31 wagon, he's got a Garrett GT3582R. So the thing generally would be laggy on stock cams like it had before. But now with the new cams, let's find out what it's like, jump in and go for a drive. I really want to make sure you guys can hear this exhaust note. So we're going to start the car outside. I want you to hear this lumpy idle. Nothing like that. Nice lumpy idle. Ooh, look at that. He's got some SAMMIT stickers. Just so you guys know, if any one of you brings your car here for me to review while I'm here in Australia, you will get a free SAMMIT sticker because you're helping me make awesome content. Anyways, enough chit chat. Let's jump in and drive. I love this car. My only issue is because I'm used to driving my 33, is that I feel like the steering wheel's like too far in between my legs and I sit up really high. But that's all something that can be fixed with a nice bucket seat. Wayne, you need to get a bride seat for both of your cars to keep yourself safe and a harness. Please, I know what horsepower you want to get out of both of them. All right, so we're gonna do like a nice second gear pull. The car's already warmed up. I had it idling before we shot, so it's all safe and good to go. Let's see what she's like now. Woo! Ha! Okay. She pulls. She pulls. Yeah, she's good. She definitely feels way more responsive in the top end. The cams definitely have done that. And then in the mid-range too, before the turbo kicks in, like, I mean, it's still a 3582R, so it's still kind of, you know, it doesn't get full boost till like 5,000 RPM. Let's just see. Let's do another second gear pull, and we'll see when full boost comes on. Yeah, so about 5,000 RPM full boost comes on, and in all honesty, it feels really responsive, even though that's the case. For me, I think to drift this, the power band is there, so it's definitely possible. What you'd have to do though is it'd take a while to get used to. But even in the 3,000 to 5,000 RPM range, those cams really have like filled it out a bit. It's got a lot more power, and it feels like right now I'm sitting at 4,000 RPM and we're still at negative PSI. Once we get past 5, that's when the turbo starts coming on. All right, hang on, let's just test that a bit. She's a bit poppy too. Let's get around this corner, and I'll just slowly take it up in second gear, and we'll see when the turbo starts spooling and we get positive pressure here on the boost gauge. Okay, so at about 39, yeah, pretty much like 4,000 RPM, the turbo starts spooling. And from like 55,000 RPM, sounds so good. From 55,000 RPM, it's full boost 19 PSI. So it builds really fast. And like once you get past like 4,500 RPM, it just flicks like this. So if you're not careful, it might be a bit difficult to control. It's really nice. So we did lifters, solid lifters in this head as well. It's really responsive, it really is. Hang on. So I'm cruising right now in second gear at like 3,000 RPM. And I put my foot down, and even though there's no turbo, it still has torque. Like we're not even using the turbo right now. And it still responds and has power. Sounds so good. I love this, hey. I can't wait till Wayne turns up the power on this even more. Just short shift it, don't even have to ride it out to the RPM, like all the way to 7 grand, it just loves it. Yeah, I can't get over how the cams have like filled out that mid-range so much that it actually kind of makes it responsive and have power. Because before then, like, his car was just factory cams, just like my 33 in Japan. So it had all that lag there. So this just makes me want to get like a massive cam kit for my 33 in Japan now. Sounds so good. Might have to do solid lifters in my head as well, hey. So overall, I feel like this car has like gained a bunch more mid-range power. It still kind of drives like it did before. It's got a lot more horsepower, I guess, like that extra, 30 horsepower or so in the top end. And this thing's gonna be a weapon once it gets a new trigger kit on it, so that they can crank up the boost some more and go to E85. Like it'll be easily 550, 600. I want to try drifting it. I wonder if I can convince Wayne to let me take this to the track one day. I think it'd be fun. I think I could easily third gear bake this. All right, let's shut her off. You can hear the turbo spooling down. That's awesome. All right, just having another good look at the outside of Wayne's car. He's running the D1R Lenzos, but in black, the same wheels that I run on my 34. And I love this kind of dark maroony red with the GTR black wing and the black hood. Looks so good. Looks like he's running like some T2s or T3 brake rotors. Obviously the GTST brakes. I've got the same brake kit on my car too. Those rotors look so good, and if you put some racing pads in them, they perform really well and stop you fast. So that's another plus. But otherwise, it's a lovely 33. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this second kind of review, clap car review of Wayne's R33. I really like, I mean, some of you guys are kind of like, oh, we've seen this before, and there wasn't such a big horsepower jump. But I want to document and kind of like show you guys like the different increments of what Wayne's doing, because it's a perfect way for you guys to learn as well. If you're building a Skyline, like all these different things that you can do that improve the performance of your car and change how the car drives and handles and feels. And what's happened with that, with the 270 Pro cams and the solid lifters and all that, it's really changed the mid-range and the top range, and it just feels so much smoother all the way through. Before, it was kind of like you put your foot down and it was like no power until the turbo kicked in the top end. And I think that's exactly what I'm experiencing with my 33 in Japan. We need to get some cams for that sucker ASAP, and I'm not talking like some 256 pond cams, I'm talking some pro cams. We need to get that happening. Anyways, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check out my Patreon. Support what I do here, making awesome content. Love to see some more of you guys on there, and join the Discord as well. I'll catch you on the next video, guys. Ja mata ne.